This is News OSU for Thursday, September 28th. We are glad you are with us. I'm Alyssa Sanchez. We begin with a storm named Ian. Ian is no longer a hurricane this afternoon, but still very much a threat to Florida. It's now a tropical storm after slamming Florida's southwest coast with 155-mile-per-hour winds and record-breaking storm surge. Now, Central Florida and the East Coast are in Ian's path. CNN Ivan Rodriguez is in Punta Gorda, just north of where the storm made landfall.
You can make preparations and make sure you're in a good, safe place, but at a certain point, you really don't know, how severe and how big this thing could be.
Tied as the fourth most powerful hurricane to hit the Sunshine State, Ian blasted ashore Wednesday just shy of a Category 5 storm.
Holy. How is this possible?
Bringing with it catastrophic winds, life-threatening flooding, and torrential rain.
The parking garage that we're still in right now with no power, is it was buckling, it was shaking.
As daylight emerges, residents will get their first glimpse at the scope of the damage. Many residents trapped in their homes where they chose to ride out the storm.
We're kind of gonna just play it by ear and, pick up the pieces, assess damages.
More than 2.5 million residents were told to evacuate before the storm. Those who didn't will have to wait.
We will get to them as soon as we can.
And as Ian continues its destructive march across Florida, the Orlando area and parts of the East Coast are getting pummeled with that rain and wind.
We were already expecting about 12 to 20 inches of rain. Some places could see up to 30 inches. So stay home, stay safe.
Now to the latest in the war in Ukraine. A Russian spokesperson states that Russian President Vladimir Putin will preside over the start of the process to formally annex more Russian-occupied areas of Ukraine at a ceremony at the Kremlin on Friday. Agreements will be signed on joining 4 occupied territories to the Russian Federation. The so-called referendum votes returned huge majorities for joining the Federation, according to the pro-Russian leaders there, but were not observed by independent monitors and have been widely condemned by Western governments as a sham. The heads of the breakaway regions traveled to Moscow following the announcement of the poll results. When asked on Wednesday if Putin will attend the event, a Kremlin spokesperson responded, "I can't answer this question yet." Sweden's Coast Guard on Thursday confirmed the existence of a 4th leak in the Nord Stream pipelines and said one of its vessels near the source of the 2 leaks in Swedish waters was reporting a steady flow of gas to the surface. The pipeline delivers fuel from Russia to Europe. According to the Coast Guard, there are currently 2 gas leaks in the Swedish waters, a larger leak above Nord Stream 1 and a smaller leak above Nord Stream 2. 2 leaks have been also reported in the Danish waters. Former CIA Director John Brennan told CNN that he thought these were clear acts of espionage.
Well, I think all the signs point to some type of sabotage. These pipelines are only in about 200 feet or so of water, and Russia does have an undersea capability that would easily lay explosive devices by those pipelines. And I do think it's a signal to Europe that Russia can reach beyond Ukraine's borders. So who knows what he might be planning next? But I think this is clearly an act of sabotage of some sort, and Russia is certainly the most likely suspect.
Coolio, the 90s rapper who lit up the music charts with his hits like Gangster's Paradise and Fantastic Voyage, has died at the age 59. Details on the circumstances were not immediately available. Captain Eric Scott of the Los Angeles Fire Department confirmed that firefighters and paramedics responded to a call for reports of a medical emergency. When they arrived, they found an unresponsive male and performed resuscitation efforts for approximately 45 minutes. The patient was determined dead just before 5 p.m. The recent gossip on social media is all about Adam Levine's affair with a popular Instagram model, as if cheating on your pregnant wife isn't horrible enough. There are receipts of him asking to name his expecting newborn after his lover. Levine's career has taken a turn for the worst, but this affair has revealed something much more. Monumental specifically about college students, how the story spread like wildfire among college students is important to the future of journalism. Here's Gabrielle Tiger.
According to the Pew Research Center, more than 8 in 10 Americans get their news from a smartphone, computer, or tablet. This research shows that it's popular with everyone. This is especially true on college campuses.
Kind of more, they have like more fragmented, they're more kind of exposed to these media, and their behaviors are not like consistent. It's pretty fragmented. They use social media with their phone, probably with their laptop or with their tablets, or even they actually watch their TV.
I surveyed a number of college students asking what piece of news they recall from the past week, and almost every student mentioned pop star Adam Levine and the rumor about an affair with a popular Instagram model.
I think I heard about the Adam Levine story from a friend. I normally get my news from Twitter or any other social media platform.
Students are less likely to pay attention to local or world news if it's not posted across the media they use on a day-to-day basis. The student newspaper, the Okali, is available for free, but newspapers from other providers are almost always lacking. The age of televised news, magazines, and print publications are a thing of the past. Only 25% of college students read newspapers on a daily basis. When celebrities, politicians, and public figures want to broadcast their news to younger audiences, they promote it via social media. Adam Levine himself even broadcasted his public statement about his affair to his Instagram story.
I've never bought a physical newspaper or magazine here in college. When I go home, I watch the news with my family sometimes, but I don't really have access to a TV with cable up here.
Having limited access to multiple news sources as a student is understandable. The next question is, will college students switch to other outlets when they graduate?
Here are some events taking place on campus this weekend. Friday night from 7 to 9 p.m., head over to Bennett Hall for movie night, TV show edition. Favorite episodes from 4 TV shows will be shown. This event will take place in the Bennett Hall living room. Open house at the Botanic Garden will take place Saturday morning. This is a great chance to get the answers to all your gardening questions. The event is free to the public. Also on Saturday, the Harvest Moon Festival will be held from 5 to 7:30 p.m. The festival will feature food, games, and performances representing a variety of Asian cultures. The Harvest Moon Festival will take place on the International Mall lawn. No wonder dogs have earned the title of man's best friend. A new study says canines seem to have the ability to know when people are stressed. According to an article published Wednesday in the PLOS One journal, dogs appear to be able to smell when someone is stressed. Previous studies have already confirmed dogs can tell when a person is scared or happy, so for this round of research, those competing scents were eliminated. The findings are based on 36 people whose breath and sweat samples were collected during and after performing a task. The dogs got the right emotion nearly 94% of the time. Our four-legged friends have 20 million olfactory receptors, with more quadruples the amount humans have. We have some great distressing sunsets watching weather this weekend in the News OSU forecast. Mornings will be pleasant with the lows in the 50s. Afternoons will be warm with the highs in the 80s. The one thing that we need, but we won't get, is rain.
Well, it was the first weekend of actual conference play, and the Big 12 had some interesting games. The game that shocked many people was Oklahoma versus Kansas State. Kansas State had surprised some people this year and are currently sitting at 3-1. The Wildcats took on number 6 Sooners in Norman and came out with a big 41-34 win. K-State has beat OU in 3 out of their 4 last matchups. Quarterback Adrian Martinez is quick to give credit to his offensive line after their victory. Martinez ran for 148 yards and had 4 touchdowns for the Wildcats. There was another big upset in the Big 12 this weekend. The University of Texas fell short to Texas Tech 37-34. The Longhorns and Raiders took turns taking the lead. Texas was up 31-24 heading into the fourth quarter. However, the Raiders took the lead when junior Baylor Cupp scored. The Longhorns had every opportunity to win the game, but just couldn't quite pull it through. After kicking the winning field goal, Raider Nation stormed the field. This is the first time since 2008 that Tech has beat Texas in Lubbock. Kansas beat Duke 35-27 at Kansas. The Jayhawks are 4-0, and what many people are wondering, why are they still not ranked? The Jayhawks have defeated both West Virginia and Houston and stormed the field after beating the undefeated Duke. Kansas is averaging 47 points per game, but can't seem to break into the top 25. Baylor beat Iowa State 31-24, West Virginia beating Virginia Tech 33-10, and finally Texas Christian beat Southern Methodist 42-34. This could be the last year for Bedlam football. When OU moves into the SEC, Bedlam will no longer exist. News OSU's Alyssa Sanchez tells us why.
Bedlam is an iconic rivalry game between Oklahoma State and Oklahoma University. On September 20th, OU and OSU's athletic directors made a statement saying that after the Sooners moved to the SEC, Bedlam would be over.
This historic game is dated back all the way to 1904 and has been played every year since. After the news came out about Bedlam coming to an end, fans were not too happy about it. Unfortunately, with certain circumstances, this game would be put on hold.
Never say never when it comes to Bedlam in football, too. Just for the near term here, the next decade or so, our schedule is pretty much booked. There's no place to put them.
College football goes through a huge process to schedule games. Here are a few questions they must ask themselves. Colleges look at money, fan engagement, and overall if the game will be beneficial to the university. Last year, OSU came out that they are scheduled to play Alabama September 23rd, 2028. The Sooners were scheduled to play reigning national champion Georgia in 2023 and play at Tennessee in 2024. But with those becoming part of the conference rotation in future years, these games have been delayed.
And the Colts are going to win Bedlam.
Bedlam was much more than just a game. It was a tradition, and we still have a few more years before it ends. From News OSU, I'm Alyssa Sanchez.
Oklahoma State takes on Baylor this weekend, and it is a big game to say the least. Last time the Cowboys and Bears faced off was in 2021 Big 12 championship game. The Cowboys fell just inches short from winning the title. The game will be held in Waco and kickoff will be at 2:30. Oklahoma State is currently ranked number 9 and Baylor at 16. The Cowboys have an exciting October planned as they'll take on Baylor, Texas Tech, TCU, Texas, and ending the month with Kansas State. With the AP polls being updated, there are 4 Big 12 schools ranked in the top 25. Oklahoma State leading the pack at number 9, Baylor is at 16, Oklahoma dropped down to 18 after their game against K-State, and Kansas State breaking into the top 25.
And that's all the time for News OSU. I'm Alyssa Sanchez. For all of us at News OSU, have a great weekend and we'll see you next week.